Hi, this is Greg with Lionquestfitness. Today we're going to talk about a couple of older guns, not real old, but a Taurus G2C and a Taurus 85. I'm going to talk about each gun and then we're going to run them through their paces head to head and see how they do. Now, this was at the request of my friend and brother from Brazil, Marcio, and I hope I didn't butcher your name too bad, my friend. But let's talk about the guns. All right, let's start off with the G2C. And we've got it in this Tagua slide holster that the crazy Scotsman sent me about 6 years ago. And this is a 12-round pistol. And I guess I'm kind of an oddball because it does have a safety, but I do like safeties on striker-fired pistols. Now, this was supposed to be replaced by the G3C, but Taurus is still making these and selling these. And partly because there were some significant differences between this gun and the G3C. One is that you're able to adjust elevation and windage. Now, you can't do that with the G3C. You can change the windage, but you have to move the rear sight over with a punch. Now, another feature that I like, you have a loaded round indicator. And when there's a bullet in the chamber, it'll raise this little flag. You can see it, you can feel it, and then you know that there is one in the chamber. Now, another difference has to do with the stippling. Now, this is just enough for somebody like me. But on the G3C, it's very aggressive and almost uncomfortable. Now, one feature both guns have is this pad right here for your index finger. But I've found that if you use a thumb forwards grip to shoot your gun, you can actually put it in that indentation to control recoil. Now, I've got the 85 in an Azula cross-draw holster. Now, this one is size JS, which is J-frame small. And for the 85, as opposed to the 856, I would go with the JS holster. Now, the 85 is a 5-shot revolver. They first came out decades ago and was pretty much a clone of the Smith & Wesson Model 36. Over the years, they've changed the design somewhat. Internally, it's different. It's also beefier, 22 ounces as opposed to 19 ounces with a Chief Special. This one is my daughter's gun. It's got a decent trigger. Smoothed up a lot over the years that she has owned it. And it's a good point and shoot gun. From within 7 yards, it's excellent for self-defense and for accuracy. Now today, for the G2C, we're going to be shooting 115 grain PMC bronze, a full metal jacket. In the Taurus 85, we're going to be shooting 148 grain Georgia Arms wad cutters. So expect a little bit of smoke. Now, the course we're going to do is one I set up that could possibly be a police qualification course or maybe a security qualification course. There's 4 stages. First stage, 25 yards. You're going to shoot, you're going to draw, shoot, standing. All right, second stage, you're going to walk from the 25-yard stage up to the 15-yard stage in a rapid walk, trot. Then you're going to go into a kneeling position as if behind a barricade or as if trying to get yourself small to the ground. and you're going to shoot 4 times. Now, the next stage is at 7 yards. You're going to be walking, you're going to turn, you're going to draw 2 shots. Then you're going to come from the other direction and do the same thing. So let's see how both guns do with that qualification course. So how do you think I did? Well, I can say this. It doesn't matter what I'm shooting. If I shoot 6 rounds past 15 yards, I'm going to have 1 flyer. If I shoot 5 rounds past 15 yards, I'm going to have 1 flyer. If I shoot 4 rounds past 15 yards, I'm going to have 1 flyer. And that's something I need to work on, and that's concentrating on getting all my shots even. Now, obviously, G2C came out ahead today. I'd say that's a pretty good grouping from 3 different distances and 3 different ways to shoot. But you know, I don't think the Taurus 85 did that bad either. You know, let's move. Like I said, a flyer. Well, I don't think the 85 did that bad. You know, I'm not going to make any excuses for Taurus. Sometimes the quality control is not what it should be. But if you get a good gun, you get a good gun. And this is a good gun. And same thing with the G2C. Now, for the reasons I explained earlier, I prefer this gun over the G3C. But if your G3C works for you, then man, you got a good gun. I think this is one of Taurus's underrated gems, the G2C. So anyway, this is Greg with Lionquest Fitness.